What's up, bot fam? When I first got started with chatbots, one of the toughest questions for me to answer was, what is a chatbot? And if you're struggling with this, let me know in the comments, because I struggled with it for over a year. I was like, how the heck do I explain this to my mom versus a prospective client versus maybe a digital marketer that's been doing digital marketing for 10 years, but they just don't know what chatbots are, and maybe a social media manager. Like, the list goes on and on, right? There's always all these different contexts that I was in, all these different situations, and I was like, how do I explain what a chatbot is? And so I want to help you answer that question for prospective clients, for maybe family and friends who are wondering what the heck you're up to as you start your chatbot journey, as well as prospective partners and other marketers that just want to know a little bit more about this. And so to make yourself seem as credible as possible, it's going to be really important for you to actually have a good answer to this question. So in this video, I want to dive into 3 different phrases that you can use to refer to what chatbots are, but actually do a better job of explaining what they are, give people some sort of definition, some sort of visualization that they can understand so that you can answer that question, and also know for yourself whether you should use the word chatbot in certain situations or not. So let's get into it. So the first scenario that you might find yourself in, which I find myself in quite often, is talking to business owners that want to use chatbots in their business. They've heard the buzz about it. They've heard all the crazy results that certain companies are seeing. And so they want to know more and how they can actually take advantage of this. And then the other party that I typically find myself talking to in this context would be other marketers. So digital marketers in general, or any sort of marketer that's doing any type of marketing. And so usually instead of saying, hey, a chatbot is XYZ, when I'm talking to them at an event or maybe on a phone call or even like in a chat, right? Someone reaches out to me and they're like, hey, what the heck is a chatbot, right? I want to know more about this. I see that you're working on this, so what is it? And so for those people, those business owners and marketers, usually I will kind of flip the situation and say, so what I really do is conversational marketing. And I'll dive into a little bit more about what that is. And the reason that I use that phrase is because it's actually becoming more and more known what conversational marketing is, right? Ultimately, it is creating one-to-one conversations at scale between businesses and their customers or leads, and being able to serve people in that situation where you can automate like a certain percentage of that conversation and then hand it off to a human to bring in, again, that human-to-human interaction and throw them back into the chatbot so you can ultimately help your customers and leads at a faster pace and help more of them, right? So ultimately at scale, one-to-one conversations, which has never been possible in history, by the way. And so this is the phrase that I use where I say, well, actually what I do is conversational marketing. And what that really means is helping people use messaging platforms like iMessage, like WhatsApp, like Facebook Messenger mainly. And then in the future, Instagram, Line, WeChat, right? All these different ones that exist, Telegram, Slack, Skype, I could go on. And I'm sure that some of you guys in the comments are going to be like, what about this one? So yes, to whichever platform you're thinking of. Ultimately, chatbots will be available on all of these platforms. And so that's really my goal, is to get them to understand the big picture and know that a chatbot is really just an automated messaging program on any messaging platform or app that they can think of, right? And its goal is to help a business grow and reach their customers faster and sooner and better. So that's how I talk to business owners and marketers. And hopefully that's helpful for you, because you'll probably find yourself in a couple of these situations where if you have a good answer for someone and can explain what a chatbot is, then you can close that deal or sign that person as a partner, or even, bring them on as a prospective client, right? And start to schedule follow-ups with them. So whatever situation you're in, that's going to be the main first one that I'm in, business owners and marketers. So let's get into situation number 2. So sometimes I find myself, instead of talking to business owners and marketers, I'm talking to maybe family and friends that are like, so what the heck do you even do, right? They're like, I know you do stuff on the internet. What does that really mean? And so they usually ask, so what's a chatbot? Because they'll see that in my LinkedIn profile. Maybe I mention, yeah, I build chatbots, right? And they're like, what does that mean? Because if you break down the word chat and bot, people are familiar with chat. They use chat every single day, multiple times a day. But then bots is where people get a little bit confused. They're like, are you building robots? Are you building those annoying bots that like and follow and unfollow people on Instagram and on Facebook. And so you really want to clarify that for them. So usually what I do with these people is I say a chatbot is like Alexa or Siri, but for messaging platforms like iMessage, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Slack, etc. Right? And that really helps people wrap their heads around it, because ultimately my goal with these conversations is not the same as the previous one where I actually want to work with them and potentially build them a bot or potentially partner with them. This is more of like a loose environment, or not loose, but casual, environment where I'm like, hey, here's kind of what I do. I don't want to really dive into the specifics, but that's what I'm building. That's what I'm doing for clients, right? So without getting in deep into it and saying like, yes, I want to work with you and here's how I strategize and here's how I build chatbots. No, this conversation is more, like I said, for maybe not so tech savvy people and family and friends, pretty much. Not saying that my family and friends are not tech savvy, but just saying that usually this kind of scenario falls along with those types of people. So let's get into situation number 3. Situation number 3 is going to be where I am talking to email and social media marketing managers usually. So these are employees of companies that want to deploy chatbots for their own companies, as well as be able to explain this to other team members. So they're like, hey, if I'm speaking at an event, they'll come up to me and be like, hey, so what really is a chatbot? Or they'll email me or message me and say, hey, what's a chatbot? We want to learn more about it so that we can implement it for our business. So in this case, I'm like selling but not selling. I'm just like explaining what I do. And if they're curious, and obviously they're going to be like, hey, well, what do your rates look like? Or how do we work with you? Right? But this isn't the same as conversation number 1. So what I actually do in this situation is use the phrase messenger marketing. So messenger marketing, I believe, was actually coined by ManyChat, which is one of the top bot building platforms. They're a Facebook partner. If you're not using them, get on that platform to build your chatbots. And so what they did with that phrase, though, was really kind of reframe it to where if you're in the Facebook Messenger bot world, then that means Facebook Messenger marketing, right? With the Facebook kind of in parentheses silently. But at the same time, if you say that phrase, messenger marketing, well, Messenger, if you're not thinking about it as the app, but more as just like messaging anyone on any platform, well, then that is very similar to what conversational marketing is, but with a little bit of a different context. And so I'll use that because these people know what Facebook is. Usually they're already marketing on Facebook using Facebook ads. And so if I say messenger marketing, then they're already familiar with Facebook Messenger and kind of put 2 and 2 together. And so that helps me explain. Again, I kind of use the same definition for all of these phrases, but I just plug in conversational marketing. It's like Alexa or Siri, but for these messaging platforms, or messenger marketing. And then the same definition kind of usually commences at that point. So hopefully that's helpful for you to just get an idea of how I usually explain chatbots to someone and whether I use the phrase chatbots or not. Usually what I will do, and if you didn't notice already, I'll kind of break that down for you, where I said that chatbots are like Alexa or Siri, but for messaging platforms. And conversational marketing is really using chatbots, which are on messaging platforms that help you automate, messages there. And so I'll kind of tie chatbots into my sentence rather than say chatbots are and create a definition for them, because that's really going to help people wrap their heads around what the big picture is, what the heck this thing can really do, as opposed to saying, okay, chatbots are this thing and pretty much this person just builds them, right? There's nothing else to it. So hopefully that's all helpful for you to get a better idea of how to talk to business owners and marketers, as well as maybe family and friends or anyone who reaches out to you and they're like, what is a chatbot? And then email and social media marketing managers who are typically employees at companies. So if this video was helpful for you, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more agency and sales tips, as well as chatbot strategies and tactics. Thanks for watching, Bot Fam. I'll see you in the next video.